thought I'd talk about childhood events to more recent events in which I realised narcissism riddled my family. There was this huge disconnect between the way I was raised and the rest of the family. In the last few years, thinking of memories that I've ignored and suppressed, thinking they were exaggerated, I decided, well, things only resurfaced because a few years ago, because of what my mom said, and in my sister's words, her words, that she felt, Mom thinks that you hate her. This was upon me visiting them. The funny thing is, I moved out just upon turning 18, or was forced out in this case, and I tried to repair the damage that I apparently did by running away, or which, to be honest, I only did because I was left with no other choice. The thing is, my family have never ever visited me, even if I lived like 5 minutes away, and would have rather sent their flying monkeys, my siblings, who also had zero interest in wanting to visit me. And the fact that one day I was trying to visit them and repair some seemingly broken bonds or bridges I might have burned, in doing so, I ended up being caught off guard, I suppose, when my sister, who was, I don't know, maybe 13, 14 at the time, had said that regarding that my mother hates me. Or, well, not hates me, but the conclusion I'll come to will make more sense, but that she thought that I hated her or very much disliked her, and I've never said, maybe I love you enough to her or something. But the truth is, I remember constantly trying to hug my mum to the point I'd make her roll her eyes, constantly try to be on my best behaviour, because that was the only behaviour that was acceptable. And I do remember going through a strange phase, despite being told, I did not smile enough, and I was always blank-faced, I tried to hug, my relatives, but mostly my mum, who just didn't always seem to respond back, and would sigh even over me wanting to hug her and cheer her up. And regarding my sister who said this, I remember one Christmas, I think this was when I'd already moved out, but I still was very low contact for several years after moving out, and as a joke, because I knew my sister wasn't too much into hugs, I was trying to hug her, which I never tried to hug her or anything regarding that sister. And I remember distinctly, I tried to hug her around Christmas. This is, having not interacted much with her, and I thought at this point maybe she'd accept, because she accepted, the odd hugs from, my brother, or, just joking around as well, just being the annoying older brother. And in my case, being the older sister, or eldest, I thought I could hug her. And I remember distinctly being punched abominably, extremely hard, being punched in the stomach around Christmas just upon trying to hug her, and I remember literally feeling bruised the rest of the evening. She was probably about, I don't know, 13, 14, maybe younger, because I feel like I've lost track over the years. Since I moved out, I've not really been included or invited for any birthdays. I've been excluded and not told about funerals of my relatives, and even relatives coming to visit from abroad as well. And what else? I've tried to basically summarize this because I don't want this to become too out of hand with all this information in my head, and I'd like to make sense to anybody watching this. So I tried to write a summary, but it seems to be making things a little bit harder actually to keep track of. As I said, for years I've tried calling them after I moved out. I tried to call my mother, and I've tried to call my mother, and I remember blowing up the phone bill, not knowing how much landlines cost, thinking it would be cheaper and better for her, as that's what she preferred. And I remember at one point spending a lot of money with the people I lived with telling me about the phone bill, and one thing that made me realise is not once did she ever try to call me, neither on the household number or my cell phone. Not once. And I remember trying to ask her about things, and she never showed any interest at all. She'd ask me how I was, and then suddenly, almost just as fast, interrupt and move on to talking about other people. And if she ran out of family gossip, I suppose, or things to talk about, usually negative, unless it was my golden child brother at the time, or maybe sometimes my sister, the one that of course didn't seem to like me either. And when she ran out of things to say, she would talk about things like laundry and the most mundane and the most inane things possible. And I thought, oh, maybe it's normal with age, but realising this, she seemed more than happy to find out all the stream of consciousness, everything I talked about to her, trying to open up to her, realising I always felt like she never really reacted to anything I said. It was like she was like at a lecture or something, taking notes even, it seemed. It never ever felt natural in the slightest. Well, again, to go back to the original point,